If I were to ask you, what this piece of music right now is making you feel, how would you respond? Perhaps you felt something sincere, recognizing the beauty emanating from its peaceful yet moving notes. An odd, euphoric sensation. Alternatively, you may have felt something somber, somewhat melancholic, and a distinct feeling of sadness radiating from the sound it emits. The point I'm attempting to convey here is that music is different for everyone. Just like we can't physically see the wind, that doesn't mean we can't feel it. And in the same manner, we can't see sound either, but they can discern and impact the heart like no other force in the universe at times, almost emitting a divergent energy like none other, and making us feel something otherworldly. Music is beautiful. It can enhance and enrich a piece of media, and that's no exception for anime either. So let's take a detour and uncover the enchanting world of music and how it can completely alter our perception on anime. As per usual, all tracks and various OSTs will be listed in the description below, and without further notice, let's formulate a response to how music can enhance anime. Above all else, however, music makes us feel things. It can surely alter our perception on the themes and events of the show, but it primarily boils down to making us feel the message it attempts to convey. This can be seen in a great number of ways, the most common of which is piano pieces to be played during emotionally tense sequences. Its distinct sounds and harmonics can flesh out the emotional ambience of the scene, without the usage of dialogue, and pierce the heart with its soft and touching notes. This is seen practically everywhere in anime nowadays, but a few noticeable ones would of course be A Silent Voice and Wada. But for me personally, I feel that music is most impactful during the last few scenes of a show, because this is our final impression of it, and often the production team wants to include something memorable to resonate in your ears and to leave a lasting impression. So more often than not, you hear something a little bit like this. Yep, it's that time again, we're playing the damn opening and no one is stopping us. Sure, it's a cheap trick, but who cares? It generates an unexplainable level of hype and emotional attachment to the scene, especially if we've been jamming to the opening theme from the beginning. Now, it doesn't necessarily always happen at the end of an anime. There are always those particular OSTs that you associate with hype fight scenes. Yep, you know the drill. Usually, if the musical component of the show has a unique tint to it, it can completely alter the perception of the scene, episode, or entire theme. Whether it's a combination of rap and opera seen vividly in Tengen Toppa and Lagann, perhaps it's Initial D's contribution to the popularity of Eurobeat, or even Fooly Cooley's timeless rock tunes by the Pillows. Having something distinct to say for the musical score of a series really adds to its value and uniqueness. A common misconception of music is that unless the OST is memorable enough for you to recall it post-completion, only then it achieves its purpose as being a good track. And that is the rabbit hole that many will fall into. For every piece of media, there are multiple scores and soundtracks used to convey and express the thematics of certain sequences. In many cases, they're designed to not detract from what's happening on screen. This essentially means that the memorability of certain musical sequences are simply only an added bonus, and that further deepens my love for the composition of scores, because you can really tell where extra effort has been applied to make the show go that extra mile for the viewer's pleasure. Things like L's theme from Death Note, which perfectly encapsulates and conveys both the tense nature of the show's themes and demonstrating the ability and behavioral trait of the character in question. Or perhaps Jono's theme from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is utilized in a way that ensures the viewer is constantly kept on their toes and engaged watching what? Weird Power Rangers punching each other. Honestly, what the hell is JoJo's anymore? No, seriously. Anyway. The cultural impact of music in anime is something I think goes a bit unsaid at times. Particular anime can implement a style or choice of music that is so well integrated that we may begin to associate the anime with the genre of music itself, essentially revolutionizing our perception of the type of music and its linkage with anime. This is seen in a number of examples, but I honestly just can't progress this point without mentioning the works of Shinichiro Watanabe and his two most popular series, those of course being Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Cowboy Bebop is a genre-busting late 90s space western that incorporated an abundance of unique scores to complement its dazzling storytelling and world-building. A cyberpunk setting coupled with slow jazz and blues is something conceptually bizarre, yet its execution is done to absolute perfection. Meanwhile, Samurai Champloo introduced something very, very different. I'd like to cast your eyes to this girl on screen. If you've had some sort of assignment or piece of homework within the past 5 years, you would have undoubtedly seen this girl, commonly referred to as the lo-fi study girl. Now if you've seen Samurai Champloo, you would be aware of how influential its music is, which denotes the introduction of lo-fi hip-hop and blends it with swift, dynamic samurai action. And this is mostly thanks to Jun Seiba, otherwise referred to as Nujabes, who is commonly known as the father of lo-fi itself, seeing that his works were projected on this platform and both revolutionized and popularized the genre. But just have a think for a moment. This girl probably wouldn't exist, let alone the striking popularity of the lo-fi genre, if it wasn't for the influence of Samurai Champloo and Nujabes' forward-thinking composition. Just let that sink in for a moment. A mid-2000s anime was one of the sole reasons for bringing about one of the most popular music genres in the modern age. And if you tell me that isn't impactful, I honestly don't know what is. For the final few moments I have here, I'd like to express my true reason for making this video. Not entirely to inform nor innovate, but to emphasize my own passion for music, and specifically when it's done correctly in anime. I'm not, and never have been, necessarily musically gifted, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who shares this. But despite that, it doesn't affect the passion I have for this art, and the appreciation for the clever methods of how it's used in anime. We've looked at some examples of this done well, examining the impacts and cultural impact it has had on us, as well as the abundance of distinctive soundtracks which have increased our affinity with a particular genre of music. One of my favourite aspects of composing this script was discussing the works of Samurai Champloo and the profound impact it left on me. Nujabes' beats and stylish endeavours will forever resonate in my ears, and his music is truly timeless. I think it goes without saying, but Samurai Champloo is truly a series you must see, no matter how affiliated you are with anime. What music does for each of us is entirely different. We can all see things in a different light, and each have the capacity to formulate and share our own opinions. Whatever it may be, music in anime is different for all. But if I'm to leave you with one final remark, let me ask you this. What does music mean to you?